Hi, hey everyone. Today I am 32 weeks and 5 days. I wasn't going to do a video until tomorrow after my doctor's appointment, or my ultrasound. I had a doctor's appointment today, but I wasn't going to do one until tomorrow. But my appointment today, I was like seriously not impressed. I'm actually a little aggravated at the whole appointment. For one, I had to see a new doctor. Which was fine. I didn't really mind seeing a new doctor. But this late in the game, I mean, I'm delivering in 2 weeks. So, this late in the game was, I guess a little it's weird to see another doctor. But, especially one that I've never seen before. So, anyhow, I go and they did the NST. And before they did the NST, you know, I peed in a cup and gave them my sample. And, they took my weight. I was up to 168 pounds, and took my blood pressure, and I forgot to ask what it was. And then she asked me if, you know, if I was having any bleeding or spotting or, you know, the normal stuff. And, you know, I told her no. And she asked me if I was having any contractions, and I told her yes, I've been having contractions, and that over the past 2 or 3 days I've really had a whole lot of them, and that now they're painful. Not so much in the top part of my stomach, but down on underneath my belly. It's like a pinching pain, and then it goes down into my cervix and like down into my bottom, and it's like pressure pushing down almost, sort of feeling. And and then I was telling her that when I have to pee, I have contractions a whole lot, and they don't go away until I actually pee. So I try to keep my bladder empty as much as possible. And she was asking me questions, kind of concerned, thinking maybe I had a UTI, but I don't. Anyhow, so they hooked me up to the monitors, to the NST machine, to check on Noah and whatnot. And I had 3 contractions in about 20 minutes while I was sitting there. They weren't really strong contractions, but they were strong enough to be picked up on the monitors. And so obviously, it didn't concern them that I had 3 contractions in 20 minutes, and they didn't continue to monitor me to see if I was going to have more. Which I did, because after they took me off the monitor, I had to sit in another waiting room to wait on the doctor because all the other rooms were full. And so I was having more contractions. So I know I had at least 4 or more in that hour. And my paper specifically says go to labor and delivery if you're having 4 or more contractions in an hour. Well, I didn't have any after that while I was in the office, which was fine. So I go in and I see this new doctor, and the first thing he asked me is, how are your sugars? Well, I was a little confused as to why he asked me how my sugars were. Actually, I really wasn't, but I'll explain that to you in a minute. But he was like, how are your sugars? And I was like, well, they're kind of high. But if you remember, I told you I passed my glucose test, supposedly, because that's what they told me. But I had told Ryan, I was like, you know, I swear I think I have gestational diabetes again this time. And because I'll start feeling sick, and you know, I'm so thirsty. I mean, I drink so much water. Even getting up every hour in the middle of the night, I don't care. I have to have water. So I have like these cups of water beside my bed, because I have to chug water every time I wake up to go pee, because I'm like dying of thirst. And so that doesn't help with the whole bathroom issue in the middle of the night, but it obviously doesn't stop me because I have to have the water. I mean, there's no way I could go back to sleep without more water. So anyhow, so I drink water all day long, and I know that's a major sign of gestational diabetes, along with frequent urination. Well, frequent urination is part of pregnancy anyways, but it's increased with gestational diabetes. So I have that. And so, because I had diabetes with Hannah, I still have my blood sugar machine and some test strips and stuff. And so I periodically check my blood sugar, and like yesterday it was 169. And, you know, it's been in the 170s and 150s, and it's high. I mean, it shouldn't be that high without gestational diabetes. So anyhow, I told him that I had periodically checked my blood sugar and that it was high. And he's like, well, we're not really going to do anything about it now because you're delivering in a couple weeks, which is no big deal. I understand that I'm delivering in a couple weeks. And I know that one of the major things with the gestational diabetes is you have a big baby. Well, we're delivering quite early, and we're also having a C-section, so that's not really so much of a concern. The concern is if I'm not checking my blood sugars and I'm not watching myself like I'm supposed to because I've been given the wrong or incorrect information. You know, when Noah's born, his blood sugar could bottom out, and he might have to have, you know, IVs to help keep his blood sugar up, or he might have to go to the NICU. And so I think that was a little careless on the doctor's office's part by somehow not telling me the correct results. So I'm a little frustrated about that. Actually, quite frustrated, really. And so anyhow, I was telling him, the new doctor, about my contractions, and he asked me about how many I was having. I said, well, the other day I had, I guess it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I had like 20 during my waking hours that I actually wrote down on a sheet of paper, like the times that I had them. And I could have had more, but it might have been like during times like I was up and active and not near a piece of paper to write. So anyhow, I told him how many I was having, and